Great. Yeah. So peer metrics has been kind of a cool thing that's been around for a little while now, hasn't it? 3 years. Wow. And then it's had changes recently. So I wanted to get Andrei here to talk about what has changed, why it's changed, and everything that goes in between. So take it away, and then we'll get questions afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you. So I'm super happy to be here. Just want to shout out to Dan for organizing this. It's really cool to see CommCon going strong year after year. But yeah, my focus of this talk will be WebRTC issues. So I'll try to not bring the mood down, but we are going to talk about the biggest or the most common issues that users are still facing with WebRTC. It is really amazing how this technology has advanced, but there are still some issues that users are facing. It is magical when it works, but when it doesn't, it is a pain. And these are not new issues. You 100% have heard about these issues. I just want to raise awareness about them. If you and your team want to go and get the best return on investment of fixing some issues, these should be on your list 100%. My focus is on end users because that's what we track. We track end users, specifically users that use the browser to connect to WebRTC. And before I go into it, I just want to start with some good news. Oh, right. A bit about myself. Sorry. So I'm Andrei Onel. I'm the founder of PeerMetrics. I'm on GitHub, PeerMetrics, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out, you can find me there. PeerMetrics is a WebRTC monitoring tool. We are 100% fully open source. You can find us on github.com PeerMetrics. We integrate with most of the SDKs. If you have your own custom implementation, we also support that. So let's talk about the issues. But I actually want to start with some good news. WebRTC issues are not that common. We are in a very good state where the experience, especially from the browser, it is pretty good. And to reach this conclusion, I actually looked at some data, some conferences that we track in PeerMetrics. So I randomly chose 20,000 conferences that we tracked. I think it's a period of 12, 13 months. It stops in April 2024. And this is what we saw. More than 90% of them had absolutely no problem. 1.3% had an error, and 8% had a warning. Now, what does this mean? We have this feature in PeerMetrics where we assign a flag to a conference if it has an error being a catastrophic problem, like the user could not connect, the user could not get any access to get or get user media, a request failed, so really, really bad or really low EMOS score. So that is 1.3%. A warning is around 8%, and a warning can be anything from like a turn was used or maybe like a connection took 5 seconds to set up, which is not really the worst case scenario, but it's also not ideal. So this yellow block should be a shade, should be many colors of yellow. But just to make it simple, I just made it one big block of yellow. So it's really, I think it looks really good with the state that the WebRTC is in right now. But to drill down into these issues and to see what are like the biggest ones that we see in our customers, I see the problems as 3 main buckets, or 3 main categories. We have hardware issues, we have no internet, or we have not enough internet. So what do these mean? Hardware issues, anything that's an underpowered device, or like or a problem with the physical camera or the physical microphone, or a driver problem. No internet, it doesn't mean that the user is offline. It just means it can't connect to the call or to the conference. The connection could not be established. And not enough internet just means a bandwidth limitation. Maybe it cannot send the video or cannot receive the video or the quality that it wanted to, or cannot send like completely send or receive a stream. So what I would love to do is to take one issue from each category, go through it, which is the biggest issue, go through it, explain it, and maybe also offer you a solution. So we would stop seeing these issues as much as possible. The biggest one, not enough bandwidth. We all know about this. Internet is really unstable, but it's magical when it works. It's really not a problem with audio. Audio really doesn't use that much. Medium audio bandwidth, we see around 45 kilobytes per second. Usually it's around 30, 40 kilobytes per second. The biggest problem is video. It's around 1250 or 1100 kilobytes per second, which is a lot. The good news is that small temporary discrepancies are handled by the codec or WebRTC, which is good, but it's in our duty as developers to handle longer lasting issues. The problem is that when that happens, it's not just one thing that goes wrong. It's not just one flag that we can look at and say, oh, this user has a problem with video. It's something like this. When something is wrong, the whole board lights up. So we just need to look at specifically some things to see that this user might have a video problem. And the three that I recommend we just look at and just stick with them are RTT, jitter, packet loss. RTT should be under 240 milliseconds. Jitter should be less than 5 milliseconds. Packet loss should be less than 0.5%. If any of them go over that, we can flag this user. There might be a problem here. Now, as I said, codec and WebRTC handles problems if it happens for like 5-10 seconds or maybe more seconds, but we should look at intervals of 30 seconds or more. This is what we do in peer metrics. We can use anything from like a moving average, whatever you want, but 30, 60 seconds, I think it's good enough for you to get an idea that this user might actually have a problem in this call. To fix it, I would say first one should be max bitrate. Super simple, you add it to that stream and then you can increase it bit by bit to see how much the user's network support. Some advanced knobs would be video resolution, frame rate, but I would actually suggest you go over to the step 3, which is just stopping the video. If the user really can't handle, the network really can't handle the video, stopping the video, it is still a pretty good solution. A thing that I forgot to mention is that some of the fixes that I will try to present here are technical, like in this case, and some of them are UX, because in the end of the day, we want to offer the best experience for users, so technical fixes are not always the only one required. Some just super quick pro tips. Make sure the user is not receiving more video than it's needed. Please take a second look at AV1. It is the best bandwidth saver that you can use for video. AV1 has really good support. It's over more than 90%. Of course, AV1 support does not mean hardware encoding, hardware and decoding. But last year, Apple supported AV1 decoding in iPhone, and that is usually a flip. That is usually a signal that the rest of the industry might follow, and we should see a bigger adoption in AV1 decoding in hardware. Get an idea of what the bitrate you might need for your product. There's this really cool blog post from LiveKit, which tells you the bitrate needed for each type of content. If it's sports, if it's conferences, just talking heads, you should get a really good idea of how much network you would need, or how much bandwidth the user would need to properly take part in that conference. And the last one, I don't have hard data about it. I've just heard it from users. Apparently in Ireland and UK, the rain affects users' uplink, so just don't allow them to have calls when it rains outside. Simple as that. Issue number 2, connection could not be established. Now, I'm not going to delve too much into this. I think this is the most talked about issue. A connection could not be established. It is bad, but there is a lot of great content out there on the internet, great blog posts on how to handle this problem. As fixes, you will always need a turn server. A turn is always recommended, even if with great SFUs. The biggest problems we are seeing still from enterprise networks with their, tell us the port beforehand, But the good news is that the pre-call tests, we can catch these issues, first one and this one, in a pre-call test. So this brings me to my first and biggest UX change is try and consider adding a staging page. It is the best option to catch most of the issues that a user might have. So in this example, there's a screenshot from Google Meet and a screenshot from Jitsi. I tried to join a call. They had full, complete, correct access to get user media to camera and the microphone, the connection established properly, but my microphone was muted from the operating system. Now imagine if I just joined the call like that. Nothing was muted, but the others would still not hear me. So that would have not been ideal. This is a simple way to catch these kind of issues and other issues with a staging page. I do realize that not all implementations or not all products have the luxury of just adding a staging page. For example, if a product might be, I don't know, just like a widget or somewhere, but there is still the option from a product point of view to add a waiting or to add this step. It is very, very important to take it into consideration from a product point of view. Issue number 3 is hardware limitations. And I don't mean underpowered devices. Even if users connect through a browser, they might still have 20, 30 tabs open and another 5 and 10 apps running at the same time. So they might still have problems. And the biggest problem that we see is with video. And with video decoding, maybe because of not hardware encoding and decoding, hardware accelerated encoding and decoding. And the way where we see it happens is usually the system is overloaded and the video gets choppy or gets frozen. And the way to detect that is just to look at frames dropped. Us fixes pausing the video, incoming video for a couple, or the ongoing video for a couple of seconds should do the trick. If not, stop the video. Usually stopping the video and telling the user that, hey, this might be a problem, we stop the video, give him the option to restart it is a good UX fix for this problem. And this actually brings me to my next UX advice I would give. Give control to users. You do not want to overwhelm them, but at the same time, you want to give them control over the experience. Even if we look at every single metric during a call, you cannot be in the shoes of a user, like how they participate or how they feel for that call. And giving them options might be a very good way of creating a better experience for them. So here I have 2 screenshots. One is Google Meet, one is Jitsi. I think Google Meet is a bit too much. It gives you options for outgoing stream and incoming stream. You can choose the resolution. Now, I'm a technical person. I understand these, but a non-technical person, what is center resolution standard definition? I think that's a bit too much. I do love what Jitsi is doing. It just has a slide between best performance and highest quality. In this case, I slide it all the way to the left of best performance, so it turned off video, obviously. But I do think this is a really nice option of giving control to users. Now, you might be thinking, OK, cool. But what is like the simplest, fastest way that I can address all of these issues? I can fix them in my product. And the best answer I can give you is just use an SDK. If you are doing a custom implementation, that is good. I would suggest you look for an SDK. As much as I love hacking on WebRTC things, it is just not worth it. In this economy, it is not worth it. I have listed some open source SDKs because I'm just biased towards open source, but there are a lot of great commercial ones. Some of them are sponsors of this conference. Some of them are also present here in the room. I would really strongly suggest your product. If you have a new product, definitely go for an SDK. If you are looking into upgrading your WebRTC product, also looking at SDKs. There is also this great blog post that just lists everything in the landscape from Blog Geek Me. I will also suggest you check that out. As for that, if you like to connect on LinkedIn, I would love to. If you check us on GitHub, please give us a star and open an issue, anything that you think it's missing from peer metrics. And with that, I just want to say thank you for your time, and I hope you find this useful.